Florence is a city of art, history and magnificent views. But beyond the museums and the wonderful piazzas are some hidden green gems. And I'm talking about Boboli and Bardini Gardens. Let's explore them today and later on perhaps also enjoy a wonderful sunset up at Piazzale Michelangelo. So after crossing the magnificent Ponte Vecchio, the old bridge, we head along Via di Guicciardini, which involves a very short walk up to the Pitti Palace. We see behind the Pitti Palace is the Boboli Garden, where we start today. Behind the Pitti Palace, a former residence of the Medici, you'll find the Boboli Gardens. Their backyard, once private, now a wonderful open-air museum. Let's check it out. Okay, so what do you get when you cross the Medici power with some natural beauty? The Boboli Gardens, of course. And you know what? First one through the turnstile, got the place to myself. So look, I'm just going to show you around quickly. €10, about 11 US to get into the Boboli Gardens, but the great thing is that's reciprocal with the Bardini Gardens too. So I'm going to take you there after this. €10, two beautiful gardens, probably a cappuccino in there too. Expat lifestyle with Bads. Share, thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you enjoy this episode here at Boboli and the Bardini Gardens, and perhaps we'll catch a sunset up at Piazzale Michelangelo too. Let's go explore. The Boboli Gardens are one of the most iconic historical parks here in Florence and Italy for that matter. And what a wonderful example of Italian Renaissance garden design, having greatly influenced garden architecture across Europe. Now in 1549, the gardens were commissioned by Eleanor, the wife of Cosimo Medici, after the Medicis had purchased the Pitti Palace. Walking here feels like travelling through time, surrounded by art and architecture shaped by power, ambition and beauty. So I encourage you, if you have time, to explore the Boboli Gardens here. And as I said earlier, with the €10 ticket, you also get entrance into the Bardini Gardens, which I'll show you very, very soon. And look, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, does it? Giving yourself an opportunity to relax and just chill for a moment is wonderful for you. So if you are travelling and you're here in Florence, just remove yourself, if you can, for a moment, an hour or so. Remove yourself from the hustle and bustle. Come to a green place like Boboli or Bardini and just enjoy being with nature. The birds are chirping this morning, wonderful. Boboli in particular is very, very quiet, as you can see. €10 entry for this garden and Bardini. You can't go wrong, can you? And of course, whilst you're here at Boboli Gardens, look for those opportunities to get the unique snapshot through the trees there. Duomo. That's a great image. So I thought I'd conclude the Boboli Garden section of this video in this particular location. As you see, that's a Vasari corridor running along into the Pitti Palace. Where the gate is, down in the bottom corner, if you do manage to do a Vasari corridor walk, that's where you exit here in the Boboli Gardens. Kill two birds with one stone. Vasari walk, Boboli Gardens, the Pitti Palace is here too. Probably too much to do in one day, but it's something to think about, isn't it? Now, from here, I'm going to walk down to the Bardini Gardens and have a look at the map that I'll put up right now. You can see it's about an 800-metre walk. Very, very easy walk. It'll take you about 12 minutes, provided you're not stopping at shops and cafes along the way. Now, the Bardini Gardens is a smaller garden closer to the historical centre of Florence, situated quite high, so you will get some lovely iconic photo opportunities. Okay, let's head over to the Bardini Gardens. Andiamo, let's go. So walking back from the Pitti Palace, you very quickly come to the Ponte Vecchio, and we turn right, so we don't actually go over the bridge. And again, it's another 400 or 500 metres to the entrance to the Bardini Gardens. Now I'm passing underneath the Vasari corridor right now, and I might not mention, but I'll put in the video descriptions of that episode in the video description below. That's such an historical landmark here in Florence, the Vasari corridor. So we're now in Via de' Bardi and the Bardini Garden entrance. Not far to go, 200 metres or so. Tucked away on the southern side of Viano in the Oltrarno district, the historical centre is just over there. You'll find the Bardini Gardens. A little bit of a secret gem, this one. Let's go and explore it together. So the Bardini Gardens does have a Renaissance or medieval sort of history behind it, but it was certainly revived during the 20th century. Okay, so here's the thing. I got to Boboli at 8:15 because that was right on the opening, and you saw how quiet I had the gardens. I practically had it to myself for the first 20 minutes or so. Now, an hour and a half would be plenty of time to see Boboli. A short walk to Bardini Gardens, and you know what? I got here on opening, which is 10 a.m. So that's pretty good timing, and I know when you're touring, you do need to try and work in and be as efficient as you can. Do you visit both gardens on the same day? Probably not, but if you're a garden lover, go for it for sure. What I like about Bardini is that it's so close to the historical centre, and you're going to get some magical views of the Duomo, which just silhouettes the city of Florence beautifully, doesn't it? There's a lovely little cafe a little bit further up too, so I'm going to enjoy a cappuccino up there very, very shortly. Originally designed in the Renaissance and revived in the early 2000s, it's a haven of Baroque stairways, terraced paths and peaceful views. Unlike the more famous Boboli Gardens, Bardini is often quiet, perfect for reflection or just a quiet escape from the crowds of the historical centre. If you're lucky enough to come in spring, the Wisteria Tunnel is like walking through a dream. But even without it, the views alone are worth the visit. Stefano Bardini, the prince of antique dealers who bought the property in 1913, added decorative elements, Baroque statuary, garden furniture from various provinces, fountains, benches, vases, reflecting his collecting interests that stretched from ancient world and the Middle Ages to the Renaissance and the Baroque. The garden, which Bardini called the Three Gardens, combines three areas that differ in era and style: the Italian garden, the English wood and the agricultural park. Now it's wonderful walking through the pergola here. You can imagine about 6 weeks earlier when the wisteria is out, it would just be magical in here. Now you get some fantastic views of the Duomo. Have a look at that. So directly ahead on that hilltop is the Piazzale Michelangelo, the viewing platform that will provide a postcard image of Florence for you any time of day. But sunset is pretty good too, very, very atmospheric. So certainly I encourage you to explore that free viewing platform, and I'm going to help you along by sharing that with you too. So I've just come out of the Bardini Gardens exit onto Via de' Bardi. If I continue along de' Bardi behind me, in a very short period of time I'll come to San Nicolo. I'll go through the old gate there and climb up the hill to the Piazzale Michelangelo, which is also a recommendation of mine. I'm going to show you a bit of that today in this episode. So here we are at Porta San Nicolò, and part of your journey up to Piazzale Michelangelo. Now keep in mind the reward does always require a little bit of effort, and the effort I'm talking about is a bit of a steep hill. I normally go straight up, but I'm going to show you an alternative route, and because we've got a bit of a garden theme today, I'm going to show you where you can walk up to the Piazzale Michelangelo through the rose garden, which is also quite nice and also provides you some opportunities for some lovely photos. And look, taking the, I'll say, shortcut through the rose garden is not a bad option, because it certainly breaks up the grind of a steep uphill walk. Always remember as you're walking up to turn around and look backwards, because you always get a beautiful image of the Duomo. Finally, the quality of that sunset, it's really dependent upon the cloud formation. Now looking behind, I think tonight would be a good one. Having said that, I was up there last weekend. I did a time lapse, so it was a fair commitment of time. Just didn't quite nail it at the end, and you'll see what I mean when I show you what I got. Actually, one of the best sunsets I've had the joy to experience was over in Bali. Have a look at this. Now, if you're planning your trip to Florence, I'm certainly not going to burst your bubble, because it is fantastic here and it'll be a trip of a lifetime, guaranteed. Your problem is there's so many things to do and see, and I've just compounded that by adding 2 lovely gardens to the equation, so good luck with working that out. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular episode, and look, if you found something of interest like the Pitti Palace, Vasari Corridor and the 2 gardens we've visited, check out the video description below for more details. Expat Lifestyle with Bads. Share, thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you next episode. Ciao.